It was a very big story because of how gruesome it was.
These were very bizarre and bloody crimes. Beheaded, burnt, chopped up.
Some narcissists absolutely believe they are invisible, they're untouchable.
It was the second case of a woman's body being found on the premises of this motel.
What sick son of a would do something like this?
In the shadows of Richard Cottingham's past, a chilling mystery looms. A convicted murderer with a mysterious confession of countless perfect murders. Cottingham's sinister secrets defy the passage of time. As investigators and the ghosts of his victims draw nearer, the suspense builds in a dark tale of justice pursued, revealing horrors concealed for decades. This video features an interview with a convicted individual responsible for the deaths of more than 20 women. Richard Cottingham committed the murders of at least 18 young women and girls in the New York and New Jersey regions during the period spanning from 1967 to 1980. He earned the names the New York Ripper, the Torso Killer, and the Times Square Killer due to his conviction for 3 murders that took place in those areas, which involved acts of disfigurement. It wasn't until 1981 and 1982 that law enforcement authorities began to connect him to any of these crimes. Cottingham's victims were scattered across different locations, and he took precautions to ensure that he did not kill or dispose of any of them in identical ways.
It's too close to dinner. It would be a shame. No, don't eat. You won't eat that. Hold on. Want some more soda? You got it? So explain to me. Just describe it for me again. All right. So we're talking about those. When I drove you up there last time, did anything look familiar?
No. It's altogether different.
Yeah, I knew it would be.
It was all farmland there. Let me see. When we drove up the last time, I always went...
So start from where you're talking...
Let me do it my way.
Hold on, just so I get it clear. The street that the ice rink was on.
Let me explain to you. This way you know everything I know about this.
Okay.
Every time I went there, I came up the street going to that street. Here's the street going to the ice rink.
Okay.
This...
Was the Garden State Parkway there yet? Or not even built yet?
I don't know if it was built or not, but I didn't know it. I never seen the Garden State Parkway.
Okay.
I used to always come the same way up through Rivervale, right up Rivervale Road, and then I'd wind up coming down this road here. This was the field, the cornfield, that I always, the well's back here. This time I came, and it looked kind of wet and everything, so I used to just drive right off the road, drive back in, and turn the car around and face this way. So I always knew, even if a cop car came by and seen me from here, by the time he got back here, I was gone into the woods. So I never brought my car there. So this time, I went up to here, and I went around this way. And my intention was to see if this was drier. And then, now on the other side, just like this, right from here, that was all swamp or woods, whatever. So this time I went, now the 3 houses I'm talking about are here, here, and here. So I pulled the car up this way. And I went in, I said, let me try over here, maybe I'll find a new spot.
Cottingham possesses the ability to provide a comprehensive recollection of his actions, even after many years have passed. This capability is a result of his devotion to a specific routine and careful planning in his actions.
And when I went in about 40 or 50 feet, the car stopped. I got stuck in the mud. So we stayed there about 10, 15 minutes. I was talking, I was trying to decide what to do. The cop car came up this way. And then he went by, and then I seen him back up. So I knew he spotted the car in there. So I got out of the car with her, and I ran into the woods. I didn't even know where I was going. Now there was dogs in his house started barking, either from me or the cop car or whatever. So that's what triggered. So now I said, let me go over that way. So I stopped here, and she started screaming. She heard the cop car, and she's screaming. The cops were up there, they couldn't see where the screaming was coming from, but they were by that empty car. But we were now 40 or 50 feet into the woods.
And the empty car is the victim's car.
Right.
It's her car.
Right. Her car was right around here. We're back here. I could see the cops because they had flashlights and everything, but they couldn't see me. But they could hear her screaming. So I panicked and I stabbed her. I tried to shut her up. And then I took off, and I ran behind this house, and between these two houses, because the dogs were backing from this house, and I came back across here. Now the cops were out here, flashlights then. I ran right, they didn't see me. And I ran this way, so they're thinking I'm still running into the woods. I came back the other way. And when I ran from that second house, ran, I would say, a straight line, maybe it's, a little curved or anything, I almost fell over the well.
Okay.
So if you get the address of this house,
It's directly opposite.
it's directly out from the end of the house, it's almost directly opposite, and I would say 150 to 175 yards in. You'd have it there. Now, it looked like there's a whole new house in this development there.
All right, and let me just back. This street here, that's the street that it's the Montvale ice skating rink that used to be on that street.
Down here further.
All right, so that's down here for. But you're sure you weren't over the New York line yet?
No, because my uncle lives up the other way. Remember I took you up the road?
Like Upper Saddle River or something he lives in?
Well, that is Upper Saddle River.
But if you kept going this way, Rockland County is right here.
Right.
But you're sure that the ice rink is here, but you were still in Montvale?
Oh, yeah. This whole area was my ground, if you want to call it that. So I knew the area. And then when I ran, like I said, I almost tripped over, I had a big piece of corrugated metal over it. And then I ran out here, and I got back on this road. I ran over through the woods and everything, behind some other houses here, and I ran on this road. And that's how, and I walked all the way back to Westwood. That's why I know if you find out where that girl, where they write up the girl, then you get land records, you'll know the exact, right to the inch where this second house was.
Right.
Because the houses aren't there no more. Because we went by, there was no houses there, I don't think. If I would have seen 3 houses, I would have said, yeah, this is it.
Well, there might be 3 houses, but there might be 100 next to them now.
They were old farmhouses.
Okay. Yeah, it's not
If
the
you get
same
the
anymore.
report to that, and they...
So let me backtrack a minute. So just for the girl so you're positive you abducted that girl from the Bergen Mall? That's the mall that you kept...
Well, I can't say that.
Okay.
It was either that, I'm 90% sure it was the Bergen Mall, but it could have been the Garden State Mall.
Okay. But it's one of the malls...
Oh, one of those two.
Okay.
Guaranteed 100%. It was about, it was dark. I would say it was probably about 6:30, 6 o'clock, 6:30.
And give me just approximate year. When did you move to Lodi?
Moved from Lodi?
No, to Lodi. So at this point, did you still live in Rivervale?
No, I used to live in Little Ferry.
Oh, right, okay.
I used to live in Little Ferry from 1970 to like 73, I think.
Okay.
And then I moved to Lodi,
Prior to 70, where were you living?
Riverville.
Right, that's what I thought. So when this happened, though, were you living in Rivervale or Little
I
Ferry?
don't remember. I think...
While Cottingham can vividly remember the details of his crimes, he appears to be less thorough in keeping track of basic information, such as his residence during the time of these incidents. Cottingham took great pride and derived pleasure from his acts of murder, a common characteristic among serial killers who frequently revisit these atrocious acts in their thoughts.
No, I definitely wasn't living in Riverdale.
Okay, so then you think it had to be after 1970 then?
No, I definitely was. Then it would have to be after 1970, the early 70s.
Okay.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way. No, but because what I did was, see, okay, there's a diner on Route 4. It was a pretty famous diner back then, and probably still there. Okay, which
The diner was near the Bergen Mall?
what I did was I parked my car. It's a 24-hour diner. That's where I parked my car. I've done this a couple of times. So my car would be, if I didn't come back for a day, there's always people coming and going. Then I would go in. The diner had a...
Use the next thing here. It's not much of a diagnosis.
Yes. Route 4, I wouldn't be surprised if the diner, there's Forest Avenue, go right down to Route 4?
Mm-hmm. There used to be a diner on the corner of Forest Avenue and Route 4.
The building's still there, but it's not a diner.
And opposite that diner, if you go across the highway this way...
Was there a walkway?
Yeah.
Yes.
Goes over to the
Bergen Mall. Right, guaranteed the Bergen Mall. Because that's what I did. I parked my car there and I walked across the thing into the mall. Then I walked around the mall.
Working on older cases presents a particular challenge due to the evolving nature of the crime scenes over time. Buildings may have been expanded or entirely demolished, new roadways can slice through previously open fields, and watercourses may undergo shifts or even entirely vanish.
So how did you get her? How did you end up getting her back in her car? Anything that helps me?
No, she was getting into a car and I just pushed my way in.
Okay.
That's how I always did.
Cottingham frequently left the victims' bodies at the location of the murder, but he would go to great lengths to transport others over substantial distances. This practice added a layer of complication to uncovering any visible pattern in the murders.
And then you take her car.
Then, I pushed my way in, I handcuffed her, I tied her up, and then we just drove up the mafia.
Okay, so then once you're up this way, and you're solid, you're rock solid this is Montvale?
I'm rock, okay, the only thing I can say, I'm rock solid about this whole thing. 90% sure that's the intersection. I can't believe there's any other intersection. But when we drove...
Well, you just drew like a little street going this way. There is a particular street that's still there where this comes up. As you go across Chestnut Ridge Road, there's a 45-degree angle going this way, and then the street continues up this way, going into Upper Saddle River and Route 17, going towards Route 17. Well, but I don't know if it was like that back then. That's the direction
where my uncle lives. You know, it's at this intersection here. If I made a right turn, that's when we went down to where my uncle lived.
Okay.
About a mile down there. That's why I knew the area. That's why I'm 95%. That has to be the intersection.
Okay.
It's just that it looks so different now. I mean...
But you're positive this is off of Chestnut Ridge Road, or off of the street where the Montvale ice skating rink was on? The Montvale ice rink was on Chestnut Ridge Road.
Almost certain.
Okay.
You know, you're putting doubts in my head.
No, I don't want to put doubts.
I know you don't want it, but
being a guy from Rivervale, I would think you would know when you were in Montvale. That's why I just want to be sure.
No, not really.
Okay.
No, but like I said, I went to this place 20 times. Mm-hmm. But I always would come up here and then... See, I could only go during the winter. That's another thing. It had to be a cold month because during the summer, this was all corn. You couldn't drive over.
Okay.
So in the winter, it was all cut down. You know, I'm not saying it could have been fall, but I mean, it had to, not summer or anything when the corn was growing. And I always would come up and then just drive right across the field, turn around, and it's fine. You know, I might be over here one time here, but it was always usually within 50 feet. It was beautiful because I could command this whole view. And I could, you know, and there was no traffic. I mean, maybe a car would go by every 10 minutes. That's how little traffic was back then. It was all cornfield, all woods and cornfield. There was no, the only light was at this corner.
There was a traffic signal there?
There was a traffic signal. I think it used to just blink. I don't think it was a red and green. I think it was like a
Flashing yellow.
like a flashing yellow or flashing red type thing.
Okay.
So they didn't have to actually come to a stop.
Go back so I can research this a little better. You mentioned you there. Do you know for sure how many times you
Just one time.
Okay.
Right in the face.
Oh, it was definitely in the face.
Because she was screaming, I just panicked.
Okay.
I was just trying to shut her.